Kia ora, Gemini. This is your reading for the new moon in Pisces, which is happening very soon. Well, technically, probably 24 hours away at this current time. So let's get a story out here. What is going on? Gemini, this time, this cycle. Let's have a look. Well, we're getting... We've got 5, a few more than normal, but than usual, I should say. Actually, I think that was before that. Okay, so thanks for joining me. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't, as I always say. And do check out the collective readings up there if you're seeing this one. So look at any other titles that stand out for you. We're made up of many and all different elements. So we're starting out here with what is in the Thoth deck called completion. It is the 4 of Wands. It is about homecomings, the happy home where we belong, where we feel that we belong. The central half, the central point in the wheel keeps that moving. And as I said, it's called completion in the Thoth deck. It's not that it is a consummate ending, it's that we begin, we embark upon things and complete all through. It is a rhythm all through life, of course. You know, maybe for some of you out there, it allows you a level of clarity upon your clarity in regards to your, you know, situation or where you're at. We've got this Queen of absolute precise thought. No mucking around, no illusions, no delusions. Clear, concise, mental acumen in that card. So we come upon, as we move along here, I think if you've been watching these before, that you know this Prince of Swords comes up quite, or has come up quite a lot in recent readings, and it is, you know, the figure has been taken on a merry dance in many directions because there's no focus here. But all we have are these little fairies, these thought forms that are on. It's got the reins to them, you know. Sometimes there is a purpose for that sort of unfocused energy because, yeah, we're not necessarily focused on one particular thing. If it lasts for too long, it can be problematic. So in some ways, there's a state of mind in this card, but some of these thought forms maybe can, in fact, hold a lot of potential for the future, but we get to a point where we sort of ascertain that, don't we? We then have, speaking of illusions, the Queen of Cups, another queen, on either side of that Prince of Swords here. You know, the Queen has a never-ending cup. You know, it's like gills. The water comes in, the water goes out. Where's the separation within that flow? There really is just a very fine membrane. Very emotionally mature queen here. With that is the aspect of, you know, the reflective nature of it. Like, this queen can be anything to anyone. It just depends what you're, you know, seeing, I guess. So there is, you know, it's a wonderful card. But, you know, for some out there, it could be a confusion. a confusion as to emotion, your emotional landscape currently, that what's actually real and what's not. There could be some level of confusion within that at the moment, but one good thing about that is that you know where you're standing currently, you know where you're at the same time. You know what I mean? Last card, and we will go through and clarify as always, the 5. Yep, this has been coming out a fair amount in these new moon readings. So, we see the mechanisms in some ways of a clock in the representation by Lady Frida Harris here. All the cogs and wheels and the mechanism, the internal mechanism. We're looking at 5s, and all the 5s are or can be challenges, they can be lessons. So in that 5 of discs, we see that sort of victim archetype. If we want to look at it in an archetypal sense, it is the victim, but it is a card about choosing lack over gain. So let's just and sometimes we can convince ourselves that that's actually a really good choice, but so we have to be careful there. You know what I mean, Gemini. So let's look at this 4. We know the 4 of Wands has been a wonderful, really wonderful card. Everything has its positive aspects and not so positive. Right. 4 of Wands. This is really sort of guiding light in this scenario. Look, there's sort of always a few narratives going on in any selection of cards when it starts speaking to you. You know what I mean? So you kind of have to stick to one for these purposes, for this platform. There could be there could be a conflict here, internal conflict between the emotions, between reality, actually, your reality, what's really going on, and your emotional state. It could be in regards to a relationship. I don't know though, like with this prince in the middle of the 2 queens. We can get swept away, in terms of the imagination. If there was no such thing as imagination, life and the world would be pretty non-existent. So, but anyway, let's just stay focused here, Gemini. So we're looking at that 4. We have what is your ruler, Mercury, Thoth, Tahuti. We have the Magician, the Magus, holding that wand, the wand of will. So we're reminded here to go back to that point, that will center. It's the driving force, it's the internal fire. Everything's on hand for whatever's required in this sense, because we do have an innate sense of where we belong here. At the beginning of this reading, we also have the Hermit. So a little directive, I guess, when you see this Hermit, very Virgoian, hero's journey card, is that we take some time to go internally, to shine the proverbial light into some of those little dark corners to become a little bit more aware of um, what exists within those little dark corners. It enables us not to have to project, in fact, our own shadow onto other people. There's an illusion within that, a self delusion within that, where we're not actually conscious of that. So it's really important to be, in fact, very important. So there's all of that. I think this is a theme that has, been coming up, and whether it's air element readings or Gemini in particular. So let's see. I'm interested in the Prince of Swords. Here. Well, too many. Feels very clumsy, feels sort of scattered. Prince of Swords. Did I say Prince of Wands? Prince of Swords, please. Maybe just one card. Just one. Bear with. All right, Queen. Yeah. We get the Knight of Wands. Interesting. Shape-shifting aspects. This is very similar to the Capricorn reading. We see the salamander here. This is fire of fire. It's compulsive energy. Fast-moving. Fire needs fuel. Do we have someone in our life that we provide them fuel and wonder why life is full of drama? I don't know. It could be anything like that, Gemini. So to clarify, that Queen of Swords, who's very straight up and down. This is confusing. And then we have the Fool. Fresh starts, maybe somewhere within that Hermit and within the embodiment of that Magician, we actually understand the root to that Queen is a level of shedding and starting something new. What have we got? Shedding and starting something new. We understand our resources. Two of Wands. We understand our authority in our own life, that we are that. Another Queen. Queen of Wands. Firebrand too, but very directed. These could all be personalities in your life as well, but directed, knows what they want. Queen of Will, very Aryan, like, I'm going to go and get what I want. I know what I've got. I know the resources I've got. Have I got that full tank of fuel to do it, kind of, And then, the Four of Swords. We understand the need for rest and respite, because there's a lot of activity going on here. There's sort of internal stuff. There's branching out, launching off like the Fool. There's illusions. There's personal truth. There's all sorts. I mean, it's like moving from one extreme to the other here. We understand that in this Four of Swords. We gain information. We have quiet time. We give that to ourselves. No one else does, right? So, Queen of Cups. Let's keep moving. We're slowing up a bit. Queen of Cups. Something about maybe relationships. Maybe just integrating aspects of yourself, Gemini, but there's something in here there is possibly a conflict. Maybe you don't want to synthesize your dualistic nature, which is quite strong. Maybe there's a resistance to that. Maybe there's this is symbolic of, someone in your life that there is a conflict with as a lover. And then we look at the Five of Discs, archetypal pattern of the victim, or just not valuing your own care, self-care, I guess. And getting into the habit of that is just one little step at a time. It just takes something small, just a small beginning is all it is. Page of Cups, a small offering. Who would know? There might be a small offering coming from somewhere else. But I do see it as in as much as in that thing of your own self-care here. There are two other cards that popped out before that. Looking at the Five of Discs. Three of Swords, pain. We understand what heartache is. We understand that. There's something in here as well. Ow. It's just so busy. There's something in here as well that relates to, your family of origin. And that there's an element of that, obviously, that's tied up with the what you're experiencing at this time, what you have experienced in the past. This is the Ten of Discs. So, your values, your loyalties. I do, it's a confusing, there's a confusing feeling to this reading, Gemini, and confusion of loyalties, confusion of what you're seeing as real or what isn't, just general confusion, which will never last. It doesn't last forever. Okay, so there are lots of options in here, though. Brian Froud, please, for Gemini. Brian Froud. And it's not the right, you can't kind of go into the many, many layers of any given reading. On this platform, it has to remain kind of simple, so we're just sticking to this. What this really is all about is where you're going next. Fairies of the future here, running with the ball. We might feel that we're moving faster than actually, we might feel like we're in a different kind of swimming lane, or look at the collective reading, something kind of about time and timing streams within that. And fairies of the future, I think you're moving faster than what you actually think. And sometimes, just take some time out and it all comes back together again and doesn't seem so confusing. Okay, on that note, I forgot. We've got emerald from the mineral stones and crystals I love. Emerald, unconditional love, beauty, recovery, healing past lives. So that's a beautiful stone emerald. On that note, Gemini, thank you for joining me. And take good care over this time, over this new moon. We'll see you next time. Excuse me, and do check out any other readings whose titles stand out for you. On that note, ka kite.